Hi guys, my name is Meredith and welcome to Beyond the Box. So I'm here with my producer Logan.
Hello.
And is this strange that you are sitting there?
I do these every once in a while, and I contribute. Probably the audience would think too much off camera.
Yeah.
So it's probably better than I am on camera. But it is. I have another show that I'll every once in a while, like every few months, I'll do it like this. That's like a check-in with the host. Mm-hmm. And I've filmed myself a little bit more recently, but at the time I hadn't, and it felt very strange. Yeah. So it depends on the situation. I always tell people that I know exactly how it feels because I have been on camera a lot.
Yeah.
And I film myself, so
yeah,
it can be nerve-wracking, but it's fun. Once you get into it, it's always better.
But it's fine.
Yeah, once you get into
it,
it's always better.
You have a hat. You can play with your hat. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. But we're here to talk about you today.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. So today being the first episode.
It's the first episode, and I wanted to give you guys maybe a little idea of why I'm doing this. So beyond the box, out of the box, unboxed, all of those mean you're trying to do something that's maybe out of your comfort zone. And that's what I'm trying to do these days, is just to do something that is challenging me, that's giving me more of a beginner's mindset, trying to just experience things that are different and that make me feel a little bit uncomfortable, so hopefully I can grow.
And we were just talking about that right before we started, that as an outside observer, I think that you're doing very much that, for sure.
I'm growing.
That's what it seems. It definitely seems so. It seems very purposeful. You know, it's like, I know, which we're going to talk about today, I know where I've been, I know where I want to go, and I know why. Yeah. And so you can see a person with purpose versus a person that's kind of just, much different energy.
Thanks.
So, where did the name, by the way, what was the thought process with the name? Other than,
I'm just trying to do that. I'm trying to do things. I'm trying to have opportunities or make opportunities for myself in order to do things to learn about either something like a job that I haven't done or an experience that I haven't had yet. And so that's
you're trying to basically break out of the box that you feel like
totally, because in the past I've done things that are very familiar for me, and that's great. But you hit a time in your life, you hit an age in your life where, either you want to travel or, you just want to do something different to expand. Some people hit that, early on in their 30s. Some people hit it in their 40s. I'm hitting it a little bit later. So, and it just feels good. It helps you grow. It helps you gain knowledge, and from that, hopefully other people will learn from me, and it can cause like questions maybe. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of where I am with that. Wasn't very good.
No, that makes total sense. Because I kind of think this is where you were going to go anyway too, but the box that you're talking about that you wanted to break out of, kind of walk us through how you found yourself, in that position to like where you looked around and you're like, oh my God, I'm definitely, because it's like, that's what I was going to say too, is that learning is like, I'm doing this right now with doing my own stuff again, finally. It's like, this is actually like a lot of fun to like learn how to do, and you realize you're just not even learning anymore, you're not adding anything anymore, is how I felt.
Right.
And just like a little bit of a change in that is so like just refreshing. It's like, like a total rejuvenation of energy, and like, and it probably reminds you of, a time whenever you were learning a lot, or a time whenever you were super passionate about things and that kind of thing. And it's just I've noticed it. And so I'm sure that, the energy that you feel from that standpoint has been amazing. I mean, it makes total sense.
It's nice. It's I will say, as you get older, you can get set in your ways. You can just live your life, and that's great, But for myself, So okay, let me
So how'd you
start.
find? Yeah, so
let me start from the beginning. So
I asked a good question, then I went on a tangent. But what,
no,
so
it's
how did
okay.
you? Yeah.
I started this. It's been almost a year ago, where I hate saying healing journey because that sounds so corny, but that's exactly what happened. Was I'll preface this by saying, okay, I've been married, but after I got a divorce. Months later, I got into another relationship. This last relationship that I've been in, it started out very fun and lighthearted, and then somehow we ended up into an almost 2-year relationship. So once that ended, it literally broke me apart. I don't know why. Now I realize months later that he was definitely the catalyst to my growth, to learning how to heal myself. But it was hard. It was painful. I didn't know why I couldn't get over it. It was one of the most painful things I've ever had to go through, to be honest.
So take us back way before that, though, right? Because we can walk up to that point, and I think that there's a few things in there that I want to jump at, but I want to also get more information too about kind of, because you're talking about a year ago is basically that moment that you're describing. So
right.
What about from the beginning too? Like, how was your upbringing? Do you have siblings? What was your relationship?
Oh God, I don't want to go that far back.
Okay.
This is just explaining how I got to this podcast. I mean,
basically, I'm trying to set the stage for why that was such a pivotal moment for you, because it seems like it was
I don't know why. It's very weird. I went through. Don't judge me. I've been married twice. Okay, so that first marriage I was a different person. I will say, when you're in your 20s, when you're in your 30s, when you're in your 40s, it seems like every decade you morph into a different person. You grow, you learn. Either you take those lessons with you and you grow, or you sweep it under the rug and you put a Band-Aid on and you just walk on, and you don't get that lesson. So that's kind of what I was doing. Anyway, I went through that first divorce and I learned how to be on my own. I had 3 young kids, and it was devastating to me. I was really scared. Then I got stronger. I got into another relationship. I got married way too soon, trying to teach my kids that I was going to be in a great relationship, and this is what a good marriage is going to be. And that was a disaster as well, because I was ignoring red flags from the beginning, from the get-go. And then I wasn't strong enough. I had all these abandonment wounds, stayed in that relationship for entirely too long, probably another 8 years. Then finally got out of that one, thought I'm really strong. I feel like a real badass now. And then that fell apart, and I did get stronger, but I got into another relationship. That relationship, like I said, started out really fun and light and airy, and I was just like, we're not going to have any labels here. We're just gonna have fun. But through it, he started triggering all these wounds that I had that I didn't know I had. You know, abandonment, self-worth. He did a lot of breadcrumbing at the end. There's all these terms that I've just learned because I had no idea what they were.
Explore some of that a little bit. You don't even have to use specific examples if you don't really want to, but just for people that are listening that maybe, again, like you never even heard of that terminology before.
No, I didn't know any of that stuff. I just knew that I was hurting. At the very end of the relationship, we had a back and forth text thread that was not too pleasant, and he had told me to go get therapy and to grow up. And when somebody says something like that, it just lit a fire in me, and I thought, are you kidding me? You want me to grow up? Okay. You want me to get therapy? Okay. It just became my personal mission to heal and to get better. And I started taking these hikes, and I got really in good shape because I would hike and I would put in a podcast because I just wanted to learn. I have listened to so many podcasts. I can't even tell you. I've hugged a lot of trees. I've cried. But all through that, I started out learning who he was. He was an avoidant man, very avoidant man. I also found out that he had traits of covert narcissism. I had no idea that narcissism was on a spectrum. I didn't know all the different avenues of that trait. And
so that's what I'm saying, though. Like, explain some of this stuff, because I think that it would be helpful. And again, if you don't feel comfortable, like saying, like, well, he would do this and that's this.
No, it's fine. I don't want to get detailed. I don't want to get in the weeds with it. I just know, and he had said it too, that he's very avoidant. Avoidant meaning, anytime I would explain how I felt about a situation, he would take it to heart and take it personally.
Yeah, right.
And not come back at me, but get very quiet, just kind of shut down. And so, of course, with that would trigger, well, what have I done? What have I done wrong? But I would never get an answer back.
Right. And
so it was crazy making.
Right. You don't want to break things up because it causes that dynamic.
It just, very avoidant.
What was the breadcrumbing when you were mentioning before? I don't think I've heard of that one. What does that mean?
That started towards the end.
What does it mean generally?
He was, he did more of a slow fade away. So it was when he was done with the relationship, the emotion left, and he just pulled away. And I didn't understand why. You can say breadcrumbing. Usually they'll pull away and then they'll give you something back, just a little crumb of something.
Gotcha.
Or they'll pull away and they'll just give you a little something back to keep you hanging on.
Oh, gotcha.
He did more of just a very slow fade. And it made me think, what have I done? I would go back and go, okay, I've been sweet. I've talked. I've helped. I've cared for you. What am I doing? I started to think I'm losing my mind. So what it would do for someone that's avoidant would pull away. It would cause that other person to go forward. So it was this runner-chaser dynamic. It was causing me to feel very anxious in myself. It's not a good feeling.
No, it makes a lot of sense. My wife she wouldn't mind me sharing this, but the abandonment in particular is the thing. And so one thing that she's really, really struggled with bad is people that, like we've talked about it in as simple of terms as me being like, sometimes people are it's just unfair. Sometimes people are just mean. Sometimes people are just selfish. Sometimes people are just narcissistic. And, she has a hard time because she so badly doesn't want to be abandoned, right? Like people will show her how they are, who they are. They'll treat her the ways that she shouldn't be treated. And instead of like where I am, like where my issue is like, okay, well, see ya. Like I do it too. I do that too easily because I just.
You're avoidant?
Well, no, I just like if I feel like you're mistreating me or something, that's triggering for me in a different way.
Oh, right.
To whereas I'm just like, okay, well, I'm out.
Right.
Now, but what she will do is she will like, and again, we talked about this before, but that it reminds me of her because she obsesses over it. Like instead of like, whereas maybe I do it too quick as far as being like, okay, you're mistreating me, I'm gone. Maybe I shouldn't do it so quick. She doesn't do it quick enough. So the person keeps mistreating her, keeps furthering that they can mistreat her without a consequence, right? Which makes it even worse.
Right.
She knows the whole time she's being mistreated, but she
didn't have the words
to afraid that person's going to leave her.
Right. Yeah, that's total abandonment.
Yeah, and so what we talked about is like, and a way that I put it to her, and it seems like you kind of got to that point too, and I'll leave it here, but something happened with the person that I'm speaking of that she was having trouble kind of getting over, accepting that they were treating her the way that they were treating her. And, she got upset about it, and I said, at some point it's just got to make you mad. I don't know what else to tell you.
It does, and you have to get to that point, and I wasn't at that point. My issue was, well, I can prove that I'm a great person.
Exactly. That's how she felt.
I can prove it.
She was like, you know me. These are people who have known her for like 15 years.
I can do this.
Exactly.
I can people please. I can.
And that's what drove her crazy, is that you were right. Right? She was right. She's right that she's a good person. You were right that you were a good person, that you were doing the right things.
Right.
That's why it drives you crazy, because you're like, why the hell you treat me like this? I know for a fact I'm not. I know I'm not.
But you can give too much in a relationship.
100%.
And I've realized that now. I felt like I was definitely trying to prove my worth in that relationship. Mm-hmm. And, you can overgive because you think, well, you just need to know how great I am. And so I'm going to do this, 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 and this. But, usually you get with somebody that's just a taker, and they just take and they take and they take.
100%.
And
takers will take what givers will get, right? So you got to stop.
Yeah,
as a giver.
You have to stop, but you have to go back and go, okay, well, why am I doing that? Mm-hmm. Because I don't feel like I have much self-worth here, So I've got to prove myself, mm-hmm. So it's just a big process. So as I was, like I said, going through and learning about him, then from there on, I thought I need to learn about myself. I need to know why am I drawn to this type of person, and what kind of, what are these wounds that I'm carrying around with that I want to heal, because I don't want to continue this, because then it comes to be a question about energy. You're putting out the energy of, please take me, please take me, pick me, because I feel bad about myself, and if you just pick me, then you can complete me, and then I'll be a whole person again. And it's like, you don't realize that until you start going deep down and like trying to figure out what your own wounds are. And it's funny because I've heard this for so many years, like, oh, you've got to date yourself and you've got to love your inner child. And I just thought, that's just a bunch of bullshit. Like, whatever, with my inner child, this is stupid. Mm-hmm. But once I started kind of identifying the issues that I had, it started to open up this new energy. And when that energy opened up, new people started to flood into my life. I started to put up some boundaries. I started to just learn about who I was. And like I said, new people came into my life because I was open to new people. And these energy
attracted it, right?
Yeah.
The new energy attracted a whole different
it was crazy.
Type of person. Yeah.
Yeah, like my friend Vicky came into my life, and she's such a kind heart, just a good person in general. And so I felt open enough to ask her, hey, do you know of a good therapist? And she was like, no. And then she said, actually, I do. And so that brought me to the therapist that I have today. And she is brilliant. I'm really picky with therapists. I feel like,
as you should be, by the way, I think.
Yeah, I just feel like, God, they're hard to find.
They are.
This woman, I respect her. She's got great words. I don't have to call her all the time. It's just like whenever I'm feeling like, I need a question answered, she's there. But it has brought me to a new level that, and I'm trying to stay consistent with it. Mm-hmm. Trying to stay consistent in that energy path, if that makes sense.
No, it does. Sure.
Because this comes to a conversation about flow. I'm trying to keep my energy high so I can stay in a flow state in order to receive like good things in my life.
Yeah. I totally get it.
And also if situations, people, words or hit me in a bad way and I feel down, or it feels like something's going awry, then I'm trying to look at it as not like, God, why is this always happening to me? It's just like, this sucks. I'm trying to look at it as, this has come into my life for a reason, and I need to address this problem, and I need to learn from it. So, it's a mindset that's that you have to kind of practice every day, and it's
100%.
it's hard to do.
100%.
I'm in no way, shape, or form, I'll just let you know, healed.
Yeah. Well, I think that
in any way.
I think that people, you were saying earlier about you go through the different things and you could either like get better from it. I'm a big like phrases, quotes guy, obviously, because I think it makes really complicated things like super simple. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, like you hear the right phrase or quote, it's like, oh, you know, this thing I've been thinking about for months, like that, there it is, that's it.
Right.
But I was just talking to my friend when I pulled up about this, about how the way that I am can be difficult to be friends with sometimes because I'm going to try to pull you a certain way because I care for you. Mm-hmm. But I've had a lot of people in my life not react well to that. You know, a lot of people. And so...
Because you just give your own opinions or what?
No, just because I try to make you better, right?
Okay.
And so, like, if, like, with this particular person, last time that I saw him in person, for example, he did some very out of line, rude stuff.
Yeah.
And I physically left him somewhere because he put me in that situation. And it wasn't out of anger. It was like, no, dude, I'm not, that's a boundary, right? It's like, you're not going to manipulate the situation, then get upset with me because I'm like, why the hell are we still here?
Right.
It's like, oh, we got another couple hours, you know. So I was upset, but I didn't do it because I was upset. I was like, dude, I'm not going to be treated like this.
Yeah.
Most people, and this is literally what I was just telling him, most people that I know that I've encountered to this point in my life, especially people my age or younger, right? But honestly, I just dealt with it with a family member, a very close family member. They don't react well to that because people don't like being held accountable. You know?
Yeah,
and
totally.
So,
and you have to gauge.
Yeah, some people don't want, and that's something I've had to learn is that they don't want to be helped.
Sometimes you can't. Yeah, sometimes you can't force yourself.
100%.
And that's been hard as well for me.
100%.
Because there are times where I've felt like I really need to jump in and like tell them, well, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
You know, if you could just do this and this and this,
Right.
but. I'm trying to learn to pull back and just listen and be there for people, and it's their path, it's their journey, and they'll figure it out. And if they want to come to me and ask questions, that's great. But that's super hard to do.
It is very hard, especially whenever you see somebody about to walk in the street and a car's coming, right?
Well,
like,
okay.
But I mean, like metaphorically, you see somebody about to do something, you're like, they're not going to listen to me.
Yeah.
So like, and they got to learn, that they don't listen. You know, that people are trying to help them and they're not listening. You almost got to let mistakes happen in that way sometimes. But I believe more than anything personally, not to go on a tangent, but in balance. And I could go into a whole thing about that. But with this particular thing, it's like, yes, I've had to learn. The balance that I've had to learn is that some people, like, I've had a lot of negative reactions, like I said. Sometimes that's because that person doesn't want to be helped. That's because maybe I did it at an inappropriate time.
So do they say to you, dude, chill out?
No, they just don't. For the most part, whenever those situations happen, and how I am is kind of like with people that I have a relationship with, I'm a little too patient. Like I'm a person that like doesn't go there. I try not to, but once you push me to a certain limit, like I'm there, and it is what it is. So like that situation that I just described, it was just rude. It just was, and I'd been sitting in a car for an hour and a half, and I was pissed off, and I'm like, dude, I don't have the patience at this moment to filter this for you,
right?
Because you do stuff like that. He had been doing stuff like that to me all week when he was visiting.
Yeah. Well, you have to put a boundary if that's
exactly, and so
if that's been going on for over a week.
And so I'm bad sometimes, ironically, about not saying something quick enough. But when I do say something, I'm very honest about it. Like I can't help but like say what's on my mind. I almost don't even know how to not do that. So that can be a problem sometimes, is my point. Like sometimes people don't want to hear that. Sometimes people don't want to hear that they're doing something this way or that way. A lot of times they'll turn it on you, right? Well, and this is why I brought this whole thing up, was to go back to what you were saying. A lot of times people will say, well, who are you to say this, that, or the other? Who are you to have a podcast? Who are you to tell me how to live? We're the exact people to tell you, because we have gone through the mistakes, because we have gone through the issues, because we have messed up, because we have chosen the wrong people and let them stay for too long and didn't put up a boundary and then learned how to do it. That's the exact person, Well,
I think you want to surround yourself with people that have that same mindset, that have the same beginner's mindset.
Yes. Because we're all going to always need to learn.
Yeah.
Right. So it's actually an insecurity on that person's side. It's a projection on their side to say, well, who are you? Listen, I'm just telling you my experience, which is what you're doing. I'm just telling you my experience. This is what I learned from it. Take it or leave it.
Right. And they could even say, you know what, I'm going to leave it.
They can.
And then you go, okay.
And that's where we have to get.
You can do
that's
that.
where we have to be like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's the thing that would bother me is I'm like, I don't understand. I'm trying to help, whatever.
Yeah.
But
you
the
see,
phrase
there was a time where that would really bother me. And it does.
It
sometimes.
does still bother me too, but the phrase was better or bitter, right?
Right.
So to very simply answer that question, a lot of times people will get bitter about things like that. Right. Whereas other people will go, I know you're coming from the right place. Even if I disagree, even if we have an argument right now, I'm going to come back around and be like, listen, I'm still going to do it this way, but I do really appreciate where you're coming from. I wasn't upset with you or whatever. Or you're a little bit questionable on something and you know that you're coming from the right place, even if it sucked to hear, and you just listen anyway out of respect or whatever. Better. Or bitter is defensive. Why are you saying this to me? Who do you think you are?
Right.
Don't you know who I am? Don't you know what I have going on right now? Don't you blah, 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 blah. And it really, like, people go one way or the other.
So I will say, too, once I tried to start moving in a different direction as far as, like, getting better, getting in a different mindset, I started to also realize that I don't need to people please as much as I have been doing. And then I started to realize, I'm going to just start doing things that make me happy.
Yeah.
So that's where I was. So I started to pick up a pencil again, and I started to draw. And
was that something you did whenever you were younger?
Yeah, I went to the Art Institute of Atlanta and got a graphic design portfolio 1,000 years ago. And so, because I love to draw. So I started to do that, and actually I started to do that in my healing process. I started to sketch what I was going through. So I should have brought it, but I've got it's like this whole booklet of drawings on the stages of where I was as far as
that's amazing.
The happy relationship, and then me putting him on a pedestal, and then me ignoring red flags. I mean, I was drawing it all out. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
You see things like very visually like that a lot of times?
Yeah, it was great. And I realized that too when I was hiking. So there was a lot going on.
Things tend to start connecting.
Oh my God.
It's crazy.
I would hike, I would put in a podcast, I would listen to, trying to heal, and then I would get little things out of that podcast, and I would think, I need to draw this. And so I would go home, and then I would, get out a piece of paper and I would draw it. And so that was helping me heal as well. So I did that, and then I realized from there, why am I not doing these things that I like anymore? And so that's when I started to, I signed up for a clay sculpture class, and I started taking clay sculpture. That was great. I was starting to get artistic again, and then I thought, I'm going to try something that I don't know if I'm going to like or not. And I started doing the pottery wheel, and I realized real quick that was not something that I enjoyed. I needed to keep doing it, though, because it teaches you patience. It teaches you rules, and I have no patience, and I don't like rules.
I'm the same way.
So I did one short session of that, and I made one mug, and I'm so happy about that mug, and that was it. And then from there, it started to morph into, I want to start doing things that are out of the box. I want to start doing things that make me feel uncomfortable. This podcast is a prime example because I'm by nature a really introverted person, and people will question me on that because I've also been a professional dancer.
The dance seems extroverted, but it kind of makes sense that you would do that because you are introverted.
I don't enjoy small talk.
Yeah.
And just superficial things in general. And so, but with the dance thing, I like to perform. I like to be on a stage, but there are usually a bunch of people way out in the audience. I don't have to interact with them. I don't have to talk to you. I can just perform, and you can appreciate the talent, and then and then I get off the stage and I go back to my house. So
the introversion doesn't affect that because you specifically don't have to talk to people. You don't have to interact with them.
Right, not at all.
Because people on the outside would go, well, if you're introverted, I can't believe that you have the confidence to go out in front of people. But you're saying,
Right.
well, I am in front of people to some degree, but what I struggle with is not an issue in that format.
Right. And this is even hard because, well, there's many levels to it. I'm sharing things with people that I normally, this is hard for me because I'm usually a pretty private person. I don't really like to talk about me. I don't like to talk about what I've done. I don't like to talk about the shit that's happened in my life. So this is way out of my box. Where am I going with this? But also, I've kind of lost my train of thought.
Whatever comes up, just go with it.
Well, so like I said, when I wanted to do this podcast, this was definitely out of my box. From there, it's also brought new opportunities as far as doing things like modeling for a sculpture class.
Right.
I never in a million years thought, well, for one, I would get asked to do it, and then to actually do it, because I have body issues. I've had body issues all my life because I've been a dancer all my life, and I've been in front of a mirror all my life. And so,
but the smallest movements have to be tightened up.
Right. When you're a performer, when you're a dancer, that is your life. You are criticizing, and you are picking on every little piece of your body that you see, every movement, and dancers can be very critical. And so to get asked to model for a class, especially after I've had 3 kids, is amazing. And so I thought, I'm nervous about this, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to commit to it. And it's really hard. It is incredibly hard. I had no idea it would be so hard to just be still for 2 hours and not move around. It's more of a mental thing. I think doing yoga helps with that because I've done yoga all my life, and I've held poses that are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So that definitely helped me. But
how quickly did you start feeling better when you started trying new things like this?
I've just started it. So
like even going back a year ago, if we pinpoint that, like, how quickly did the new energy start to seep in, just as you started to do small things like take a class for the first time or whatever? Like, was it a little bit at a time, then it started to build in momentum, or was it like right after that first class you knew you were on the right path and everything felt great?
No, I will say when I started recognizing what I was trying to heal, that's when my energy raised. That's when I started to see things in a different light. I was trying to be more positive. I was trying to not have negative self-talk. I was trying to do all those things that they tell you to do in therapy. And a lot of times people are just like, that's bullshit, I'm not going to do it. But I was actually really trying to do that. And it's weird. Once you start having that mindset and trying to think positive, then it, like I said, it puts you in this flow state to where things that are good are going to happen naturally. And I don't completely understand it, and it's not like I'm here all the time. I'm very inconsistent with it because, like I said, I'm not healed. And there are days where I just, I feel like I go 4 steps backwards, but I'm definitely, for the most part, trying to, like, make a decision and move forward with it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying not to be wishy-washy. I'm trying to just be very decisive and trying to stay in that flow state because it's fun and good things happen when you're in it. But it's like I said, it's a daily practice.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
No,
Sounds crazy.
No, it makes total sense. Trust me, it's good that you are referencing and speaking to the people that currently may think that it is ridiculous. In real life right now, you're not talking to somebody that thinks it's ridiculous. In fact, I very much, that's why I'm having to stop from jumping in, because I'm like, you're so right. And like that, it makes a lot of sense as to why you have came as far as you've came in such a short time, and why you've done all these different things, because the mindset really does matter. And I could go on that for a long time, but specifically, I think, at least how I look at it, the answer to the question of like why that works, why that mindset works, is that you find what you're looking for. And so, you know, I'm not very religious, but the Bible has a couple of things where it talks about it just from a philosophical standpoint. It talks about, seek and you shall find. My point is, this is a very old principle. Seek and you shall find.
Right.
Whatever you look for, you'll find, right? Whatever you look for. Whatever you look for, good or bad, right? So you could...
that's true.
That's why they say you can make a hell out of a heaven and you can make a heaven out of hell, right? Because but the phenomenon of like things start to happen as you just switch the mindset and things start coming to you and stuff, you know.
And your intuition gets really sharp.
It does. Well, and also what I think about that is I think that we don't trust our instinct, especially people that have feels for things like energy. You have to trust you have to trust that instinct, because it's all your accumulated experience in one quick decision. And so it's very, very accurate. But the point being is, like, if this has happened to you or anybody's listening, if you ever have like a breakup or something in somebody's car, you see it all the time, right? Like, oh, is that them? And you're like, I swear to God, there was not this many of that car on the road, right?
Right.
Why? So it's not that there's more of them; it's that you weren't looking for it.
Yeah,
right?
you're aware of it. It's like when you buy a car and you go, crap, there's this car is everywhere.
Exactly.
Why did I buy this car?
So it's like that with positive thinking, or with trying to find good in things, or trying to get takeaways from bad things. Is like before you wouldn't have even seen what a takeaway was. Before you wouldn't have seen a good. Before, in fact, even when good things would have happened, maybe you would have, one way or the other, it would have turned out bad, because you're looking for the negative. It's like, I scored 100 points. Yeah, but why didn't you score 150?
Right.
Well, the other team scored 20. So what are we doing here? You're just trying to be negative at some point. And that is absolutely a mindset. And a mindset is it's a lens for how you look at the world. So if your mindset is, I'm going to try to find bad, well, you're going to find it. There's plenty of bad.
Yeah, the more you think about it, the more negative that you think, the more negative is going to be out there. It's just 100%, what comes back to you.
100%. And there's been studies. There's like these funny videos that you can watch where they do studies on this, where they tell you to focus on something, and you'll focus on it, and then they'll replay the video. They'll tell you to focus on something else that you didn't even notice. And the study that they did was like a bear. It was like a human wearing a suit, but it was this giant like bear suit that came into the video that you were just watching while you were focusing on something else. And they'll ask you about it afterwards. Did you notice the bear? And you'll go, what are you talking about? There's a bunch of people in a balloon or whatever. What a bear. It's like, watch it again. There's a bear that comes in right in the middle of the video that you never noticed. And it was there the first time you watched it.
Oh, wow.
Right? Because you weren't looking for it.
Yeah.
So it's that powerful is my point. And the other principle that I was going to bring up is momentum. Right? Another thing, I won't even go into the phrase that it comes from in the religious text, because it's a whole longer story. But the point being is, momentum is a very, very, very real thing. The more you win, the easier it is to win. But momentum also does not discriminate. So the more you lose, the easier you lose.
Right.
It's the same way both ways. These are just like, to me, again, you're talking not to a person who doesn't believe it. I believe it so much. I think that these are like laws of nature. Yeah. Right? Because they don't discriminate. Right. If you're winning, that first time that you go run, it's impossible. The 400th time you go run, you don't even think about it, But that first time that you don't go run and you watch a show on Netflix instead, you're like, I probably should have done that, and you feel bad about it. The 400th time that you choose to watch Netflix instead of going for a run, just like momentum the other way, it builds, and you're like, yeah, not a big deal. I've done it 399 other times. So more things start to happen, and they come to you because you're looking for them. So that's a thing you can control that you're utilizing, your own, biology, basically. But then the other one is like a law of nature. It's like, you're looking for the right things, so you're seeing more of it. The more you see, the more you see, and the more you see, the momentum starts to build, right?
Yeah. It's hard to.
But it can feel crushing. That momentum can feel crushing when it's the other way around. When you're like, well, I'm in 5, 10,
sure.
15, 20 years worth of negative habits. It doesn't feel like I could ever.
Definitely. And you have to start small. You know, you can't
100%.
just, you know, if that's your mindset always, which, you know, not to go back to my ex, but to go back to my ex. He was a professional victim. And
Those people will drive you crazy.
Everything was, you know, everybody was against him. You know, woe is me, and I was caught up in that because I was, you know, like his cheerleader. Yes, you can do it, and I did have a lot of empathy for him and felt a lot of compassion. Like, you know, I see where you're struggling, and if you can, you know, we can fix this.
Mm-hmm.
You can fix this if you'll just, you know, this was my whole people pleasing thing, and you know, trying to make it better. If you can just, you can do this and this and this and this, and then your life will get better. Like you can. I was trying to push him, you know, and it's those mindsets, those type of people, until they decide that they're not going to play that card, they're going to. That's what they're going to play all the time.
100%.
Because for some people, playing the victim gets
It
them
works.
a lot. It works so well.
Yep.
And I will
and
say,
there are bad things that happen, so they will encounter bad things. People will do them wrong, and that's the worst thing that can happen to somebody.
It works because an unhealed person that is playing victim will attract many other unhealed people that want to fix them.
100%. 100%. Because the right person would say...
That's how he got me.
Yes. Well, you're actually... I didn't really thought about that. That's 1,000% true. Because the right person, they would do that and be like, look, man, you're blaming everybody except for yourself. Take control over the situation. You know, take accountability. Get better. That's what the right person would say. But you're 100% right. Most people...
That's not where these people are.
Right. 100%.
You know, they're
they
like,
validate that feeling to
you know,
them.
God, this is so bad.
Yes.
And I'm just... Everybody's against me. And then... You know, and then, like I said, other unhealed people will come in and go, "Oh, it's okay, you'll 100%. Be fine," which feeds the victimhood.
That's what I'm saying. It validates it.
Yeah.
They're like, "Yeah, no, 100%, you're right."
It's like dopamine rush. Oh my God, they care for me, and it's like this unhealthy circle, and nobody sees it. But the people that have healed and that are on the outside,
1,000%.
Like I can see it. I can see it now, but I didn't see it then because I was right there.
And to that person, who's the bad guy? You.
Well, I'm the bad guy.
100. Well, of course.
Yeah. So
of course, I literally trust me. I'm like 1-to-1 dealing with this right now, and it drives me fucking nuts. It drives me absolutely nuts.
But it's again. Then you have to go. Well, this is not my job, and you know, I don't, and I'll just put it out here. Like I sit and talk about my ex right now. I don't have anger with him. I needed closure way back, you know, a year ago, and I had a lot of anger. I don't have anger right now. I feel good, and I feel like that was a part of my life. And had he not come into my life, that was a part of my life that was a catalyst for change.
100%.
He was responsible for that, and I'm glad for that.
Well, and sometimes people won't get better because they're like, well, I don't want him to know that he made me better. Whatever, you're the one that got better. Who cares? I know that I'm feeling so much better because I can say that. Are there times where, you know, I slip back and go, God, that hurt so bad, and you know, I was crushed. Yes, of course. I'm not, you know, I am not perfect. Well, you're a human being also.
Right, but
you know what I mean. You don't want to be a robot.
But for the most part, I wouldn't go back and change anything.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be where I am today. You know, I feel a lot more open to try to change my life. I don't feel like I need to actually be in a relationship either. You know, to just like.
Because you're enough. You're not trying to validate yourself with somebody else.
Yeah, I feel okay. I feel okay with me.
Yeah.
You know, well, I like me.
Whenever you're like trying to prove yourself to that person, the thing that, again, it brought up something that I've been dealing with lately. So it just happens to be a good timing to talk about a lot. But what it made me think about is what I said to my wife, where you're trying so hard to prove yourself to this person. At some point, like I said earlier, at some point you got to get mad, you know, angry about the way they're treating you. But also at some point, like, what you've done has to be enough for you, right? Like you have to know I came from the right place.
Right.
I tried to help them.
And I don't need to explain it.
And I'm not saying that you're doing this.
Well,
I'm
just saying that was, sorry to interrupt you, but that was something else. I also feel like I don't need to explain to anybody else. You know, I'm sure that there are, there may be people that are saying you're crazy or she was crazy or whatever the narrative was.
Exactly.
I don't feel obligated to, prove myself.
No, 100%.
Because I know who I am. I know how I was in that relationship, and I know I was a good person, and I know I gave the very best of what I could give.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was saying and that has to be enough at some point. And eventually, on some level, you realize like, look, I did my job here.
Yeah, I have no regrets.
Exactly. And that's how you can walk away from that being like, listen, I did what I could.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I think that that's super, super important. And
but it is really hard for people to realize that until they've done work on themselves, until they've gone through that whole process of why and why and why and why, So
I've brought up a couple of times accountability, and the reason why I think that that's so important, I think maybe just a straight up better word for it is I read a book a few years ago, long story short, it's called Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. So it's amazing, but
what's it called?
Extreme Ownership.
Okay.
And basically the premise of it is that if it's your life, then it's all on you at some point. It's kind of like in sports where it's like a player on the field makes a mistake. Well, that's on the coach. It's like, well, no, it's not. He didn't do it.
Right.
Yeah, but that's the coach. It's on him, right? He either is coaching it.
He told me to do that.
He's either coaching it or he is allowing it, right?
Right.
So it's on the coach. Well, same premise with this, right? The example that I love with this because it makes it super in your face is if you opened your door tomorrow and there's a baby on the porch, like a stork dropped it off and there's just a baby there. Well, we can argue all day long about whose fault that is, right?
Yeah.
Well, how did it get here? Was it a stork? Was it somebody dropped it off? Was it somebody I know? Was it not? We can argue about that all day long, but what we can't do is argue about the fact that that's now your responsibility. There's a baby sitting in front of you. You're just going to walk over it and be like, yeah, well, I didn't put it there.
Right.
Right? Nobody would do that. Yet for some reason, whenever you try to get people to take ownership of their life, they don't want to, and they want to blame everybody else. So,
it's easier.
100% it is.
Yeah.
And ownership is also easier because there's an ego aspect to it, like I said, where it's like, well, I didn't do that, right? Like the coach. It would be like a code. Nobody would think that this makes sense. If a coach was like, well, I didn't make the penalty, people are like, dude, fire this guy immediately. Like,
right.
What do you mean you don't get the fact that you're the coach and that you're the one that... So, but again, for some reason, you give that exact same example to people in regular life, and they do it all the time. And so the baby example, for example, or like, to use your specific example, whenever a person is, like you're just giving and giving, right? It's like at some point, they are who they are, right? You're the one, it's your life. You're the one that's being mistreated. You're the one that's giving too much. You're the one that's, and I'm, again, obviously I know that we're talking about how you've overcome this. I'm just speaking generally, but and this is something I struggle with. I hate being misunderstood. It drives me crazy. And I agree with my wife on this particular pet peeve, like, especially whenever I know I didn't do anything wrong, it drives me nuts.
Right.
And
So what do you do? Do you explain it, or do you?
Well, generally,
give her the Cliff Notes.
It would be situational to some degree, but it always comes back to this conclusion, which is what I was thinking a second ago: is no one is ever going to understand you the way that you envision it, right? Like these people, it's like, oh, they don't get me. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. So there's got to be a different answer other than I need them to get me, because that's not. Right. Ever going to happen. Even in the best scenario, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, all you can be is your authentic self, and hopefully, hopefully, your authenticity will shine through. And if it doesn't, then that's not your job. It's not your person. It's not your job to try to convince them otherwise. And you don't have to be ugly about it. You just, you agree to disagree or whatever. And
that's balance. It's like, it's okay. I get that at the end. And again, I didn't get it. And this is my point. I didn't get it at first. Like, how do you misunderstand me? Like, especially when it's people that are close to you, family members or whatever. It's like, you know me better than anybody, I would think.
Right.
maybe.
Well, family members are even harder.
100% they are. And but my point being is that, of course, you don't understand. Like, you could never see nobody could ever see the world through we're all, I hate people that are like, people aren't special, blah, blah. Yes, they absolutely, just because, my favorite analogy for this one is like snowflakes. Every snowflake is different.
Yeah.
So if it's snowing, there's fucking trillions of snowflakes.
Right.
Every single one of them is still different. Both things can be true, right? So point being is that whenever somebody's treating you a certain way, all these kind of things, at some point the ownership has to, and people don't do this, but at some point the ownership has to come back to you because it's your life. You're the one being mistreated.
Right.
Now you could go, well, they shouldn't be mistreating me. I agree. So, but what does that have to do with the fact that you're the one being mistreated? And so at some point, the point is that the ownership, extreme ownership, says, if it's in my life, I take ownership of it. It doesn't have to mean it's your fault. But so whenever
that's an ego thing too.
100%. Big thing between, like, the fault almost doesn't even matter almost. It almost doesn't even matter. And people that this is what I was going to say, is that people that have a chronic victimhood mentality, accountability is one way to put it, but really they took no ownership of their life. It's like, let's say that whoever it is sitting there going, well, my dad did this, my mom did this, somebody cut me off, and this, that, and the other. It's like, great. Now what?
Yeah.
They don't want to talk about that part.
Yeah.
Right? Because then they got to talk about what they're going to do to fix it.
Well,
and that's a no-no. That's a no-no. No, I want to focus on why it was done to me and who did it to me and how it's not my fault. Like,
it would be fine if I said that, if I said, talked about traffic or whatever, and God, I would, you have to preface it by saying, I would just like for you to commiserate.
Right. Yeah.
I understand I'm playing victim right now, but I just want you to commiserate with me.
100%.
So, I mean, as long as you can do that, then you have some kind of awareness as to
100%.
who you are, what you're doing. But yeah,
let's say we relay it because of traffic. Extreme ownership would say, this principal would say, okay, so leave 15 minutes earlier next time.
Right. Yeah.
Right? It's like,
but you can't say that.
But the point of the mindset, though, is to look at what you can control. How can you affect it? What are you doing to make it better? What are you, right? Like, take ownership of, should I not have chosen this person? Am I letting this person stay around too long? Are they a great person, but for whatever reason they have this thing that they do with the way they communicate that I'm not correcting? Like, there's always ownership to be taken, and there's a big, huge, gigantic difference between people that have a victimhood mentality and an ownership mentality, because these people will drag everybody around them down forever until they switch over to this side, and a lot of people never do switch to this side.
It's hard. It takes.
So you just got to get out of the way.
It took me half my life, you know, and I'm still not there.
Yeah.
So
patience with people is a great idea, and that's where people like us can get stuck, because you're like, well, they could change, because you're a person that believes in getting better, so you're like, well, I got better, they could get better. True. But it would be like looking at someone who's morbidly obese and saying they could get ripped.
Right.
Yeah, sure they could.
Well,
sure they could.
Yeah.
But how many choices and for how long do they have to make the other way before you go, they're not going to?
Right. I used to go into relationships, romantic and otherwise, putting my best foot forward and then assuming or just thinking, well, they're going to give me back just what I'm giving them. I mean, because that was my mindset.
I'm the same exact way. Yeah.
Was just like,
because you would never treat somebody like that.
I wouldn't do that. So why would you do that to me?
Exactly.
But I'm realizing that everybody is not me.
Right.
And like, again, I'm no saint, because I can be a real shithead sometimes. But for the most part, I try to to be a decent human being, a stand-up human being. And so it's just what I'm realizing is just that everybody's on a different path of life. Everybody's in a different stage. So, they're not there yet.
And that's ownership.
And that's all right.
That's ownership of your own expectations.
Yeah.
Though. You see what I'm saying?
But it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
100%.
You should go, oh, okay, cool, check.
Yeah.
Let's improve that. Let's not expect so much. Let's not expect such, because I did the exact same thing. Let's just do it because that's what we want to do, not because we want anything back. Not to say that that's what you necessarily do, but it's natural. It's natural to do. When you do nice things, you expect it back, and when you don't get it back, you're kind of like, hey.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm that kind of person. That's what you were saying earlier. One thing that you said too earlier was like, I'm trying to prove, like, ironically, like, paradoxically, like, the people that don't really care about that stuff are the people that will go crazy if you don't give it to them. It's like, I just want you to do it because you want to do it. I don't want to have to say it. And then once I have to say it, it starts to bother me. And then once it starts to bother me, I really start noticing that you're not appreciating me. And now I look like a person who is crazy about having myself pumped up. And it's not that, but you never give me any, you know, actually that exact same friend I was talking to, I said to him one time, he gave me shit about being, he said it in a vulgar way, but basically he was like, you know, you sure do love yourself, basically, kind of. He said it in a nasty way, though. And I said, well,
you're full of yourself.
I said, buddy, if you don't toot your own horn, sometimes there's no music. You know what I mean? It's like, you're not the one you don't hype me up. Yeah. So what, I'm supposed to just fucking not be confident because that's how you are?
Yeah.
No. Right? And
well, he was projecting, we go into another word, another therapy word, but he was probably projecting 100%. his whatever shortcomings or his anger or whatever onto you, saying that you were that.
Yep. And that's the same person that I was talking to when we pulled up, that I just told him. I said, I appreciate you because whenever we have conversations like that, instead of running away or attacking me, you actually listen.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I don't want people like the first one. You know, it's like you want to be careful on how you say things and make sure you do it at the right time and place. Balance is important in that way, but balance is also important between embracing who you are, which is one of the best for people, and telling them so. And, you know, making people uncomfortable by being, you know, if who you are, if you're genuinely being who you are, make someone uncomfortable, that is not your problem.
Right.
That is a them problem.
Yeah.
That is absolutely a them problem.
Yeah, for sure. Should I go into projection real quick? Because this was a word that I had learned. For instance, going back to that text thread where my ex had told me to grow up, that just made me wild because
he was the one that needed you to grow up.
Because, yes.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, isn't that funny how people portray that? Like
my jaw hit the floor. Yeah. But it's crazy because I didn't realize that whole concept until now.
And what's messed up is that people, if you take a person who's manipulative and they're armed with some of this, what we're talking about, they'll actually use that against you too. They'll go, you'll hold them accountable. They'll say you're projecting.
Yeah, there's all kinds of freaking psychobabble.
Yes,
and
it's insane.
You can talk about it, but unless you actually know it, you know, you can throw those words out.
Exactly. These things that sound cheesy or whatever, it's because people throw them around so much and don't understand them. They actually are very powerful things.
Right.
Very powerful things.
But once you understand them, you start seeing it.
You can't stop seeing them.
It's crazy.
You know, and that's like finding what you're looking for. Like once you start looking for good things, you can't stop seeing good things. It's like it may take a while to get there, but once you start seeing it, you can't stop seeing it.
It's like the energy thing. Once I started being really aware of where my energy was, I have low energy, I have high energy, whatever, I could walk into a room and I could feel like...
We were talking about this last time.
I feel dark energy.
Yep.
Really can.
Yeah, I do. I promise you I'm right there with you.
It just
and you
makes
don't even
me
know
feel
where it's
weird.
coming from,
and
so you don't trust it. But then you learn to trust it because you're like, damn, I was really right about that.
Well, it just doesn't feel right now. And so I leave.
Yeah, that's exactly what you should do is trust it.
Yeah.
Trust that instinct. Like I said, it's an accumulation of all of your experience and gain. It's like everything in one.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So it's kind of cool. I'm glad that I'm trying to be aware of my environment. I don't want to, getting back to this podcast, I don't want to start walking in a daze through life. As I said, as you get older in your life, this happened to me, you just start realizing what's important. Things start to become crystal clear, and then and you really are trying to just, you know, I don't want to say I want to make a difference in life, but I mean, I just want to be happy with myself. I want to be an authentic person. I don't want to say I want to be a good person. I just want to be authentic to who I am.
Exactly.
And so if people don't like me for it, then they don't like me for it, 100%. And that's okay.
That's exactly what I was saying earlier. Let the chips fall where they do. Past that, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like be yourself, and whatever comes from that. That's what I'm. That's one of my big changes. I'm really trying to like lock in. It's like whatever happens, even if it's bad, know that that still happened because you were being yourself, and so that's okay.
Right.
That happened or whatever. You know what I mean?
And hopefully, like I said, good people that I think are really making a difference in this life. I want them I want them to come on to this podcast and just talk about them, because in one way, shape, or form, they have come into my life for a reason, and they have molded me and changed me and caused me to grow, because they are their authentic selves as well. And I think it's really cool, and I think that they're worth being talked about because they're amazing people to me. So that's
well, and so are you, and so do you. And I think that it's an amazing message behind why you want to do this. We didn't really talk about it, but the first time that we talked was like a 45-minute conversation
while I was hiking
about this exact kind of stuff.
You're like, I've lost you. I've lost you.
Right.
I was like, I'm into trees right now. So.
But I think that it's an amazing place that you're coming from, and I think that the thing about being authentic and genuine too is that, like I said earlier, it works both ways. Like, it's just such solid, airtight logic, because it's like, if you lose when you were being yourself, at least you know you were being yourself. If you win being somebody you're not, it's like, well, you won, but you know that's not really you.
Yeah.
And then if you lose, you're even more pissed, because you're like, well, damn, I lost, and I wasn't even myself doing it.
Yeah.
Right? So you basically are in a lose-lose situation when you're not being yourself, and you're in a win-win situation when you are being yourself.
Yeah.
So it would be foolish to do it the other way. And the last thing for me is, you said a second ago, it's like, I want to, as cheesy as it sounds, like, make a difference. And I think that, and this is something that I personally struggle with as well. So this is, this is like we were talking about earlier. This is me sharing it from my own experience. But, I think that it's actually really sad that we got to a place where people feel uncomfortable saying something as simple as, like, I want to make a difference, or I want to, help people.
Right.
Or, whatever. And I've thought about that for a long time. And the other day I saw somebody put it very simply. Well, now that I think about it, when we've had conversations, I've done a few interviews over the years with people that have, like, tried to commit suicide or these kind of things. And I always title the episode the same every time. And it's what I would say to you, and it's what I would say as to why it's absolutely not cheesy to say something like, I want to make a difference. In fact, that's be damned the people that made us feel uncomfortable saying something like that. And the phrase is, your life matters.
Yeah.
It does matter. You do matter. And it's like, yeah, I know. And it's like, no. People don't believe that anymore.
I wrote that on a piece of paper about this podcast. People matter.
People don't believe that anymore. They don't believe that they matter. They don't believe that their story matters. They don't believe that they can make a difference. They don't believe, like, they really don't. Again, it's like, if you say that to somebody, like, hey, you matter. Hey, your life matters. Or, hey, do you believe your life matters? They'll be like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Do you believe your life? A lot of people really, 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 really don't. And that's a whole different conversation about how we got to that point. But a lot of people truly don't even believe that statement right there, that you matter and that your life matters. Like I said earlier, the whole thing that I hate when people are like, oh, you're not special, blah, blah. I hate that's where that mentality comes from. Yeah. Well, if I'm not special, what's the point? It's called nihilism.
Right.
Nihilism basically means that you believe that nothing matters.
Right.
And everything in our world will tell you that that's the right way to be. Right. But it's absolutely not. And
I mean, it's easy to go down that.
It's so easy.
But
by yourself.
While you went
people,
down it, you can easily.
You can.
Well, not easily, but you can make your way back out of it.
It's the most important thing to come back from.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, can we do like a lightning? Let's do a little lightning.
Actually, that's exactly what I was going to do.
Okay.
With that, all that being said, you do matter. Your life matters. You. Talking to you specifically, we're also talking, I think that's your message in general to everyone, and while we're doing this, so we're why does I give it? Okay, sorry. While we're doing this is exactly to that point. So yeah, lightning round. Okay. This will technically be the first episode, so you guys don't know that she does this yet, but she does do this.
I like to do a lightning round at the very end of this podcast, just to kind of get a feel for Logan.
Yeah, and clean the palate a little bit.
Yeah.
Too.
So I'm gonna say let's start with favorite food.
For me, it's bar food.
Bar food.
Bar food, like
burgers, fried pickles.
Yes, American bar food, without a doubt.
Potato skins, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, potato skins specifically, I don't love, but I love all kind of fries. Anything on them, burgers, fries.
What's your
fried
cholesterol level?
Pickles, not great. It's a good thing that we exercise, and we also have tried to cut back a little bit, and not drinking will help with that a little bit too, which we're also trying to cut back on. But if you go into my head, yeah, it's absolutely.
I mean, you're young.
Absolutely bar food.
You can get away with it right now, but
I'm already getting in trouble for it already.
Okay, I'm gonna say favorite sound.
Yeah, I really like that. I really like that question. It makes me think every time you ask it. I think it's interesting that people usually say silence, but I hate silence. Makes me feel like I'm gonna go crazy.
It's kind of quiet right now while you're thinking about it.
I don't.
Like, what about weather? Like,
I mean, I like the rain. I will say that, like,
I like frogs, the sound of frogs.
Like
only because at my house there's a pond, and so we hear the frogs. Like, usually in the spring, there's usually like a little frog orgy that's going on in the pond. I'm not kidding. It's disturbing.
Coming to your sleep sounds near you soon. Frog orgy.
Yeah, but it's like an orchestra of frog sounds. But
I don't know. Maybe I get really, really excited. Like I said this to my wife recently. That I'm not like, I don't play music or anything. I would like to maybe try making music later on in life, but the right song.
Yeah, it can be a song.
It can be a new song. Oh, I don't even know what it is, but like a new song in particular that I like, maybe I haven't heard, and it is like a 10 out of 10. The energy that gives me, like that's an audio thing. So probably like a really great song that I haven't heard before would probably be my favorite sound.
Okay.
Probably. It just gets me going.
Favorite sound, favorite smell.
My dog. Okay. Probably. Or my dad, maybe.
Okay.
Like there's like a certain linen closet type smell from my childhood for some reason.
Yeah.
That I always associate with my dad. So maybe that.
Okay, that's sweet. Favorite movie?
Oh, that will be here forever. But
okay. Favorite movie, maybe genre.
Genre would be by volume probably comedy. My wife doesn't like super serious movies. I like documentaries too, but
I like documentaries.
Oh, duh. Marvel movies for sure. My dog's name is Stark, like Tony Stark. So,
okay, there you go.
Yeah, that was an easier answer than I thought. Now that I'm thinking about it.
What about pet peeve? One pet peeve.
Repeating myself.
Okay. Let's see. I have one more. Let's see.
Well, I repeat myself all the time. To be clear, having to repeat myself.
That? No.
Yeah, having to exactly. I may say the same thing. I may be redundant.
Yeah.
But having to repeat myself drives me crazy. Yeah.
Okay. And what's a fun fact about you that no one knows?
Fun fact about me that no one knows. Let's see.
Some things you have to really think about. Like fun fact. Could be anything.
I don't know.
Did I say my fun fact?
No, I was going to come back and ask you the questions too, but I don't know. I don't know if this is assumed or not, but like I don't have any formal training in videography.
Oh, yeah, that's a fun fact.
That seems to be surprising to people. So.
It is surprising.
Yeah. So no formal training, also possible.
Wow.
But yeah. What is your favorite color?
Let's see. I like anything like a warm color.
Orange.
Probably orange. Yeah. Yellow, something like that.
Did you? I don't even think. I started with color. I don't even know if you mentioned that to me. It's like a very specific blue that I like, but I can't remember what it is. But so orange for you, which I also like. Yeah. Favorite food?
I like Italian food.
I love Italian food too. That would have been my second. The bar food is what go into my head. I have one more meal, give it to me. But like, also,
I like lasagna. I'm a lasagna connoisseur.
I love lasagna as well. I love Italian food. Yeah, I do too. But favorite food, favorite type of music, genre of music, let's say.
For me?
Yeah, for you to listen to and to dance to separately.
Oh, gosh. Okay, well, I mean, I love to dance to salsa music because that's what I'm doing currently. But I like hip-hop, but I like old school hip-hop.
To dance to?
To dance to. Yeah. When I'm driving, I like some good yacht rock. I like Fleetwood Mac. Anything that's in my vocal range so I can sing.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's see. Let's do the old, if you were on an island and had 3 things you could bring with you.
Oh, God. This is if I was on Survivor.
Yeah.
So, well, God, I don't know what I would bring. I would bring a pillow, for sure. That sounds crazy. I would bring...
The pillow may not last you very long.
I know, but I've got to be comfortable. I have neck pain.
True.
I don't know. I would bring probably a peanut butter and a knife or something like that. I would not.
Let me put it this way.
Survive.
Let me put it this way. You get one more chance to go back inside your house, grab your most prized item. Let's just say one. Your most precious physical item. You get one more chance to go back in your house. The house is burning down. You're on the way out grabbing it, or you just get one more chance to go back in your house.
I'd bring my dog.
That's a great answer. See, there we go. There we go. I have to say, I don't know if you would have lasted super long on that beach with your pillow and the peanut and
the peanut butter.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then my dog would eat the peanut butter, and I would eat the peanut butter.
For like a day, you'd be looking
yeah,
really
and
good.
then I'd be
like,
tapping
this is
out.
easy. Yeah, this is easy. And then your pillow would get destroyed somehow, or get taken away by an animal.
Yeah.
And then your peanut butter would run out, and you'd be like, I didn't really think this through too much, did I?
No, I would sleep on it, and then when it get gross, then I would like tear it apart, and I would make it something I could wear, and I don't know.
Yeah, see, I didn't even think about that. You're like it's like 4D chess. You're like on a totally different planning pattern.
Yeah, I wouldn't survive.
We'll send the people off with what they can expect from this show moving forward, and we'll be out of here.
Hopefully we'll have some interesting people on, or at least people that you can gain something from, and we'll see you next time.
Good job.
Yay!